Welcome back, folks, to the Weekly Dweeb. This is topic technically 2 this week, but it's 3. We did a Han Shot first episode this week, so it's technically 3. Kev is with me as always. Kev, we've got Microsoft just being Microsoft. The Xbox brand is, I guess, tanking, as I would say. I think you would agree with me. They've recently announced that they're essentially a third-party developer. They have released the Halo Combat Evolved trailer, an announcement that it is coming out on PS5, which everyone knew was coming. Good for Kev. Very good for Kev. Very good for Kev. That's not the comments that have got me worried for them. They've been saying and doing a lot of stuff recently. Recent comments by Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella on their plans and their outlook for Xbox going forward have me quite a bit worried that the Xbox we know and used to love, I wouldn't even say love right now, is pretty much effectively dead. He confirms Windows is their main focus with gaming. He highlights a Steam storefront, which obviously because they're probably pissed that Steam's getting all the money and Microsoft is not. Confirms multi-platform strategy going forward. Wants to be a successful publisher, uses success with Office as an example. Obviously, they bought Activision Blizzard, and it changed everything because they spent so much money. They have to be multi-platform. The next few are the one that are quite something. He sees console and PC gaming, sees consoles and PCs as the same thing, heavily hints at the next console being more PC-based. This one is mind-blowing. Says competition in gaming is short-form video, not other gaming platforms. Says good margins are needed to keep funding. It also recently came out in a leak that Microsoft is pushing their games divisions to have a profit margin of 30%, which is much higher than industry standards, which is something. I'm going to get you some exact quotes here.
Better start selling cold cuts on the side, boys.
He says, so to us, the way we were thinking about gaming is first of all, we are now the largest publisher after the Activision deal. I've mentioned that. So therefore, we want to be a fantastic publisher, similar to the approach on what we did with Office. We're going to be everywhere on every platform. We want to make sure whether it's consoles, whether it's PC, whether it's mobile, whether it's cloud gaming or TV, we want to be everywhere. Essentially what it says, which is the push for their stupid ass. This is an Xbox campaign they've got going that they keep getting mocked for, but they just keep doubling down on it.
It's an interesting take to be like, yeah, we're going to duplicate the success we've had on Microsoft Office, which is, to me, it feels like the quintessential square peg, round hole metaphor, because I don't know very many people that use Microsoft Office willingly. And there's a big difference in convincing a bunch of business people, the people who will oversee hundreds of people who will not really actually have to use a lot of Microsoft Office themselves. In fact, the higher up you go really in any company, you'll find that those people don't have the slightest idea how to download a PDF even or open an Excel spreadsheet. So they could care less what the rank and file are using. Ask any of your office friends, any of your friends you have that work a day job or who have in the past, and go get their opinion on Microsoft Office, on Microsoft Teams. And
this is bad.
And I would just say, in my own personal opinion, I'd rather just have a basic free Gmail account and use freaking Google Docs half the time than freaking Microsoft. I think Microsoft is one of those companies that benefited from being there at the ground floor.
They were the beginners.
There was a time when Microsoft Word was, yes, in every computer, but you were selling that to school administrators. This is something that the consumer themselves are going to have to pay $1,000 for. Mind you, again, if these people wanted to be PC gamers, they would buy a PC. A lot of people go the console route,
save money.
They want to save money. And also, not everybody who's even if you've a 20 to 30-year vet of video game consoles, James, you don't need to have any technical knowledge to do that. You don't need to be a computer guy. You don't
Yeah.
need to know really anything outside of how to hit a power button and how to restart when there's a new software update. Even going back to the
Yep.
beginning, all you had to do was turn it off and blow into the cartridge. All right. We're not talking
Yeah.
about rocket appliances here. Okay. So I think it's a really horrible business model. You're going to have a bunch of people who don't want to be computer gamers, or they would have bought a gaming computer a long time ago. The computer gamers, the people who custom make their PCs, aren't going to go anywhere near this. Who in
They
the
don't want a
hell did
cheap
you
version.
make this for?
I
Who did you
don't.
make it for? No one wants it. Who's been asking
I
for
know.
this? You know, I'd really like my console to also be a computer. So it has to spend more of its time and energy and power doing things that aren't running the damn video game that I'm paying you $80 to play. Who is this for?
I don't know. Kev touched on it. The other part of this is new information's come out on their rumored next gen Xbox. It's rumored to be it's a rumored to be $1,000 to $1,500 in 2027. High end and expensive, no paywall multiplayer. Will offer a console UI, but as a full Windows device, Steam access Steam games, backwards compatibility. That's a computer. It's not an X. That's not a console, and I don't want that. Also, I can't afford that, and most people can't, and most families can't. They're not buying a PC for their kids. They can't afford it. That's the point of consoles. And also, this last year has seen console prices for the first time ever in mid-cycle go up.
Yeah. And as did the internet price, right? So as did the
yeah.
Xbox
So
Live.
Games Pass went up. Yeah.
So the strategy, I guess, at this point is, James, is jack up the price of what is ridiculous. Like that, I feel like is a scam that both sides can be called out. One of the reasons
they blame the
PlayStation for so long was
off.
because PlayStation did not. They were, I think, maybe the last one, or at least between Xbox and PlayStation. For the longest time, you didn't have to pay PlayStation extra money to play your game online because that's a scam. And they all do it now. I can still call it out as a scam. Like, it's bullshit. I shouldn't have to pay you for
scam, and they're not making money.
Which I'm already paying for. And so now what the idea is, we're just going to jack the price up on your monthly internet fee, so that way you'll pay us $1,000 for a console upgrade you don't want. But hey, we're no longer gouging you $15 a month for the internet. The wrong direction. I think
it's just so misguided. And so, like, it's also important to point out this is not Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, saying this shit. It's the head of Microsoft. So it's not hard to be like, well, if he's the one saying it, it's being mandated, right? Like, they have no fucking choice. And I've been an Xbox guy. I've been a Nintendo guy forever, but I adopted Xbox because Nintendo did their own thing, and they're really a side player. But now they're not a side player. Take that back. They just do weird shit. It's now very apparent that people are saying the console wars are dead. It's not dead. It's Sony and Nintendo. And Microsoft's going to put everything on. They're going to put all their games on everything, and they're just going to become a third-party publisher, because this is not going to work. This console is not going to work. I don't know who it's for. It's for the high school kid. It's for your middle school kid that you want to get a game system for. It's not for us. Like, who's it for? Is it the poor college student? And I'm somebody that by the end of every console cycle, I have them all. I have a Switch, a PS5, and an Xbox One X right now. My next next gen purchase, it would probably be a Switch 2 at some point, but it'll be a PS6. I'm not buying this.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
At least Sony's shown a little bit. Like, Sony's got a prime opportunity here to fucking wreck these, like, to knock them completely out and turn them into Sega.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. This is really giving me Stadia vibes. Do you remember that? Remember Google's attempt to get into the gaming business?
Yep. It went
how long that lasted, so it's not unreasonable for us to look at, like, hey, here's this mammoth of a company that like they're not too big to fail when it comes to these individual products. Like, yeah, Google's still in business, but that Stadia, I don't even know if it's compatible with your Google Home. I don't know if you
I
can
don't
use it
know if
for
Stadia
anything
even.
other
Yeah,
than no, Stadia is done, but I'm saying
yeah,
even the hardware, I don't know if you can plug a Stadia controller into your computer and use
yeah,
it to game on Steam. Like, it is completely the only thing. Like, you can still use the Google Home that came with your Stadia so that
yeah.
Stadia would
It's
work,
just
but
it's an
it just
insanely expensive Google Home.
yeah, so it just feels like, at the end of the day, you're going to end up with a $1,500 paperweight that I guess you can run. Ooh, can you run Microsoft Edge on it? Go back
Games.
to those same Office friends and ask them how many are using Microsoft's fucking browser. Like, no, they don't make good products. It's not a good
They haven't in a
product.
long
It's
time.
one that gets forced onto people because it's sold at a corporate level and then
Yep.
trickle down to the people who don't have the authority to decide what they do their work on a daily basis.
The
And that's not how this works. This is a
no,
consumer market.
we get to
They are not
decide.
going to pay you to suffer through this
No,
bullshit. Like James says, we get to decide
I
here,
get to
and you're
decide.
not gonna sell this. Who is this
You're
for?
not telling you're not forcing this down my throat. And you brought up a good point. So recently they released the Xbox ROG Ally X and all those handheld ones. They're
Oh,
essentially the Steam,
dude.
like the handle. The shit that came on them, like you had to strip them. Essentially, they had Teams on them. They have calculators on them. They have, I'm sure they had Excel. Like they have everything. They have all
Why would
Microsoft
you
shit,
want Teams?
and you have to strip that all off because otherwise you have to sit there and it fucking updates and takes up space and like it's fucking stupid. I don't want Teams on a fucking mobile handheld fucking like fuck off.
That's
I said
great. I
fuck
love
off.
that. They're like, hey, so your job, they can also monitor your gaming console now too. Like, why would I
Yeah,
want
fuck
Teams
off.
on this thing? I don't want
Yeah,
like that's the last place I would want to
stupid.
get a message. The Teams is not Discord, okay?
No.
There is not people are not socializing on Microsoft Teams. I promise you, people who use Microsoft Teams have nightmares about that sound like they're a poor like I
Yeah,
used to
I've
have
never used it. Everybody
when
you
I
ever
was a
talk to
line
here, it
cook
makes
and
you
I used
sick.
to just hear that stupid printer just printing off
Yep.
paper. It'd just be this recurring nightmare where there's just a sea
Mhm.
of work tickets that I got to work through. I imagine that anybody who hasn't long since silenced their Teams notifications hears that dumb
Yeah, and they
ding,
freak out.
ding, 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 and they just scream. All right.
Yeah,
They
it fucking makes
scream
them
into the
kill
void.
themselves.
Nobody wants to be forced to deal with that after paying you $1,000 of their hard-earned money, and now I gotta have Teams updates on my fucking
It's fucking
handheld device.
stupid.
And why are people still making handheld devices? How many times
You're
PlayStation
not
failed this?
beating Nintendo. They've got
Yeah,
it.
they gotcha. It's
Their whole,
done.
by the way, their whole system is built around it. That's it. It's not an offshoot like the Xbox out.
And
Like
they've
that's just,
been they
it's
carved
dumb.
out that market 30 years ago,
They
James.
got
That's
it,
the other
man.
part.
They
Like,
got it, and they're fucking good at it too. By the way, oh, by the way, it doesn't have fucking Microsoft Teams on it.
yeah, like you're trying to beat folks that had the Game Boy, the original Pokemon games. Like, you are
3DS,
not
like
going to
they've
crack
done
into
this.
this market. Sony screwed it up with the PSP, and now like
Whatever.
they're freaking DC in a movie franchise war. We've got Xbox a full 10 years after Sony
Yeah,
realized it was a dumb decision, saying, "Oh no, well, yeah, people would love to pay twice what they paid for a real console to have this
yeah.
handheld shit Switch
We bitched.
knockoff."
Yeah, we bitched about Switch's prices going up. It's like half this. And at least it's
Yeah.
like it's a full console. The Switch 2 is full console dedicated. It's more expensive. Like,
Oh, but James, you can write your resume on this, so that's worth $1,000, right? Dumb.
fuck off. That's what I got from Microsoft right now. Like you've destroyed this brand.
What in the Jordan Belfort freaking cocaine
Yeah,
fueled
morons. So out
business
of
meeting
touch.
was this? Like, man, more
So
time
out
on the
of
slopes, boys.
touch.
Whoever signed off on this,
And
you'll be the next one to be fired so that you can report
yeah,
profit to the shareholders, just so you
30%
know.
profit margins is fucking incredible. Jesus. My last thing I want to highlight is I want to read this quote because this is just a fundamental understanding of gaming as a whole. and this is an exact quote. It's a whole paragraph, so just give me a second. He goes, so I'm really looking forward to the next console, the next PC gaming, but most importantly, the game business model has to be where we have to invent maybe some new interactive media as well. Because after all, gaming's competition is not other gaming. Gaming's competition is short form video. And so if we as an industry don't continue to innovate both how we produce, what we produce, how we think about distribution, the economic model, best way to innovate is to have good margins. This is an exact quote. I'm saying this. Best way to innovate is to have good margins because that's the way you can fund. I don't care about your funding, but it's not my fault that your fucking games that you have bloated development costs sky high. That's not our fucking problem. Trying to charge us $80 for games, fuck off. And two, if you think gaming's competition is TikTok, you've lost it. You've lost the plot. You really have.
On both accounts, the idea that innovation
only happens when you have a bazillion dollars is completely actually contradictory to everything that's ever happened. Do you think the people that created the wheel had a shitload of money? Did Thomas Edison have fucking billions of dollars when he created electricity?
Well, they say like necessity is the mother of innovation. So like, no,
you're wrong, actually.
Having a bunch of coffers you can sit on does not actually drive innovation. In fact, based on the way these lizard brain suits normally think, if you're making money, you wouldn't deviate. You wouldn't innovate whatsoever. You would just keep sucking money out of these poor idiots that are willing to give it to you.
That's
so
that's so
I mean,
stupid.
but that encapsulates so many of the things we've talked about, like just in our Star Wars episode, talking about Bob Iger and his infinite wisdom and these smart CEOs. They're super smart. You know, they know what they're talking about. When it comes to these creative businesses, you can't have a fucking suit making. There's got to be somebody who understands the art form to some degree. It can't just all be P&Ls and bottom lines.
It can't just be it cannot be bottom lines. Do you know what game will probably win Game of the Year this year almost universally across the board? Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Small development team, small development budget, incredibly creative game. What they did was, it's fantastic. If you have not played it, go fucking play it. Do you know what they charged for that game, Kev, when they released it?
$900, I imagine, probably, right?
Incorrect. $40. $40. And it sold it blew about a week after it was released. You couldn't find the game because they didn't make enough copies of it. That's how big of a game it was. Like, if you think money is the driver of creative decisions and creative innovations, anything, you're fucking wrong. You just don't get it. But also, this has come from the company that cut 10,000 jobs so they can fund their AI goals. So what do you expect?
They're gonna reap what they sow in that bubble.
Yeah, and I'm not. Yeah, like
we will be here to celebrate that.
We will. This channel will be here to celebrate and laugh and say, like, we told you so. It's embarrassing.
Dummies. And
we get to decide. Again, we get to decide what we buy. Kev is right on that.
And apparently I also, because you did highlight this, but I got so caught up on the other aspect of it. But yeah, that concept that we're not competing with other video games, we're competing with TikTok. Again, you don't understand the very people who you're trying to run over the coals with your hands in their pockets. You'd have a better job of stealing all these people's hard-earned money if you at least put in some effort to understand, because there are, not to say that people aren't doom scrolling, that people aren't sitting there, but like that's a different setup, James. If you want to say, as a gaming studio, we're not just competing with other gamers, but or other game studios, but we're also competing with Netflix. You know, maybe you're competing with movie studios.
If you're trying to compete, like you're trying to collect their attention span, and you want to argue like attention spans are shorter, you want to argue what you're saying, like Netflix or other entertainments, right? Like, I don't disagree with that. Like,
no one plays console games for 3 minutes. All right, I'm
not playing console games for 30 seconds. You know,
yeah, it's a misunderstanding of that. Like, that's a different form of content consumption. Not that it's not there, but no, you're not sitting here thinking, oh, I could get in, so we both play sports games, right? So
Mhm.
for me, it'd be Madden. For you, it'd be NCAA. I'm never thinking to myself, oh, I have enough time for a game of Madden, or I could scroll Facebook for 20 minutes. It's
No,
usually,
it's not
it's
that.
like I could watch a show or I could play a video game. It's a different, like anybody I think who sits down to play a video game is expecting at minimum, like, is anybody firing up their console for 15 minutes? Like,
No.
unless you specifically
I
have
so
some
I
live service game and you're like, well, I have to get one more round in before the
here
season ends or I don't unlock my skin. Those are rare occasions, but most of the time, James, what, 30 minutes at a
yeah.
minimum?
I have a game right now that I'm playing that is like that. It's Final Fantasy Tactics, which it's a tactics game, so it's missions and they last about less. They last so I could fire it up and play it for 15 minutes. I'll be like, oh, one more mission. Like, but that's the rare occurrence. Like if I know that if I'm going to play a game of college football in our online dynasty, I've got to have at least 45 minutes.
That's what
And
I'm
that's okay.
saying.
Like that, I know that. And that's what I'm here for.
So
I
if they had
usually, if I'm
said,
playing tactics, I'm sitting down for an hour. It's
right,
not, I'm like, I'm not going, oh man, I got 2 minutes here. Do I want to watch? I don't do TikTok, but do I want to watch TikTok or run 3 plays in college football?
right, yeah, it's like, oh shit,
What are you doing,
oh
man?
man, I can't play video games tonight because I was on Instagram for too long. Like, I don't know, maybe in
Maybe we
other
are gonna do that.
demographics, like maybe in the younger generations, that's a real thing. But again, like I have younger siblings who are on TikTok a ton.
Yeah, I
Never
won't do
heard
it.
that be a thing where it's sort of like TikToks for the dinner table
Mhm.
and the console is for when the rest of the family is watching a movie or whatever, but again,
Yeah.
like it's different wavelengths. So the idea, like, this just sound, did they hire this guy from Quibi? Is this that dude who is like,
Fucking
oh,
feels like
we're gonna put whole movies in TikTok form and people will
how
watch
do
part
guys get how do
62 of this
guys
movie?
get this far? It's just mind blowing to me.
Buzzwords.
Like he is the CEO of Microsoft. How do you even get to that part?
Well, he was probably born into at least part of it. But yeah, a lot of this stuff is just, who do you know? Who did you meet at some bullshit expo? And, how did your family get in? Like, so much of this stuff is not based on any real merit, but, oh, I like the cut of your jib when we were at the fundraiser. A bunch of nonsense, dude. That's when it comes to
Yeah.
those jobs. Because otherwise, how would Bob Iger be in charge of Disney 2 different
Two
times? Like,
different times he
man, they
cut. Yeah,
brought
he left.
him back
Yeah.
to save it. Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Dude, that is not a merit-based situation. There has to
Yeah.
be at least one better guy. It's not this episode. Maybe we can chase our AI episode because that one will be an hour on its own. We can do another hour-long episode, James, where we just come up with a list of people better to run Disney than Bob Iger.
Oh, it's gonna be long because it's pretty much everybody. Everybody. Like truly. Fucking shut
Can
down the
you
fucking
read?
company.
All right,
Yeah.
you're in.
The
Uh,
alphabet. Which right now, so many fucking people use Chat GPT. I just don't fucking know. I don't know. Going in the wrong direction. Microsoft, you suck. Thank you guys. This is the Weekly Dweeb. Come back next week where we have topics usually every day of the week. Sometimes we miss Mondays depending on schedules at 6 p.m. Going live every Wednesday. We talked about Sinners this week. Go check it out. We're going to talk about weapons next week. Those are live Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. Kev, outside of here, where else can they find you at, buddy?
go check us out over on Carnage Media's YouTube channel. We've been uploading some of the matches from Benchmark Pro Wrestling. We have Ring Wars on Saturday, so that's amateur kickboxing and pro boxing all in the same
Let's
night.
go.
I'm very much looking forward to that. And if you want to hang out and just make fun of not normally CEOs, but we might make fun of a Bob or two over on a Tuesday night Clout Route stream, come hang out with me and Danny. Always a good time on Tuesday at 6 p.m. But that is it for me, James. What about you? Anything coming down the pipe?
Nothing extra. Nothing extra coming down the pipeline. Very excited to watch Weapons next week. Heard great things. Kev has watched it. I have not. Might be the third time Kev talked about it, so that's fun. But nothing new coming from me outside our just daily stuff. If you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, share, comment. If you have anything you want us to talk about, we're always open to suggestions. There's a huge AI conversation coming someday. We just keep gathering content for it, and it's just gotten so big that we're gonna take some time. It's gonna probably be its own fucking hour-long episode.
To turn into its own like documentary of us.
Really, truly,
Here's
we've
what
got so many people's
every
thoughts.
person who makes art professionally has ever had to say about
and most
AI.
of them
We've
are
been
the
collecting
exact
it.
side of what you think it would be. So yeah, but thank you guys for joining us. As always, we'll be back. We will be back next Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern. This is the Weekly Dweeb. Until next time, folks.